What is up, YouTube? I am back with another video. I do have to speak silently because it's like 11:44 at night and my little boy is going back to bed. He took a nap and he woke up, he played, he ate, and now we're putting him back to bed. So, I am excited to introduce to you all a new thing we're going to do on this channel for the month of August. So basically for the rest of this month we'll be doing a series on how to conduct, right? Earlier this year I had the privilege of attending Greensboro College and I took a conducting course out there. Now I already know how to conduct. Conducting is really easy, right? But this course has taught me things that I did not know, right? I guess that's the point of college, to teach you things that you don't know. So I took the course, and the book that we used was the Modern Conductor. So that's the book I'm going to use to teach you all how to conduct as if you're taking a college course. So the way this is going to be set up, you're going to get 3 lessons from me a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll be getting a lesson from me coming out of the Modern Conductor. This book is by Elizabeth Green. You can get it on Amazon or Slug Books. I got mine for about $6. $12 altogether, including shipping. So it's a really good investment if you're serious about growing in your conducting. So basically, today we're going to go over chapter 1. It's really short, sweet, and to the point, and it's something that I think we should be able to get out there, okay? And then Monday we're gonna be diving into chapter 2. Basically, this is how this is going to be set up, right? Today we're doing chapter 1. Monday we're doing chapter 2. Wednesday and Friday we're going to focus on 3 because 3 is a pretty long chapter. Then that following Monday the 10th and that Wednesday the 12th we'll be doing chapter 4, and also on the 12th we'll be doing chapter 5. We'll do chapter 6 on the 14th. On the 17th, we'll do chapter 7. On the 19th, we'll do chapter 7 and 8. And then we're going to skip that Friday. No. That Friday on the 21st, we'll be getting introduced into score study, so how to read a full score. And then on the 24th, we'll do chapter 9. On the 26th, we'll do chapter 10. On the 28th, we're going to skip chapter 11 and go straight to chapter 12. And on the 31st, we're going to skip chapter 13 and go straight to chapter 14. And that's going to set us up for September, where we'll be having conducting videos every Sunday. So I am excited for this. I'm excited for this month. We're going to dive into this book. We're going to get through it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into chapter 1. If you have the book, I do highly suggest that you get the book and that you read before chapter 1, The Art of Conducting. I would highly suggest that you read that. So chapter 1, so you want to be a conductor, right? So to stand in front of an orchestra, band, or chorus and beat time does not make one a conductor. But to bring forth thrilling music from a group of singers or players to inspire them through one's own personal magnetism, to excel, to train them through one's own musicianship, to become musicians themselves personally, to feel the power of music so deeply that the audience is lifted to new heights emotionally or generally persuaded through music, to forget momentarily the dust of earth and to spend little time in another world. Yes, this can be called conducting. Okay. So a fine conductor is, first of all, a musician. He must be sincere and inspiring leader. He must have integrity where the music is concerned. He knows his score thoroughly and can convey its meaning to players through cerebrally training hands, right? He has developed his sense of pitch not only to be able to sing any part of the score, but to be able to hear it in the mind, the inner ear, so loudly that when the actual rendition does not come up to the standard fixed in the musician's imagination, he will set about attaining that idea during the rehearsal. He knows theory, harmony, counterpart, musician, history, form, and analysis. He has reached a professional performance level himself on some one instrument or with his voice, and he is entirely interested to learn more and more about the problems of each instrument of his ensemble. He has somewhere along the way taken a thorough course in orchestration, and all transpositions has become second nature. The best conductors are innately endowed with musicality, a term that need not be defined because those who have it know what it means, and those who do not will never understand it through definition. Finally, another conductor worth his salt must have a mind trained to work as fast as lightning and 1,000 times more continuously. The art of conducting is the highest, most complete synthesis of all facets of musical activity, and it should be regarded by anyone dedicating himself to the profession of the baton. So, basically, up to this point, Elizabeth is describing what it means to be a conductor, right? You must know your score, you must be able to train your musicians, you must be able to teach, you must be able to stand in front of them with confidence, you must be able, that sound that you hear in your head, you must be able to produce it through your band or orchestra or chorus, right? So basically that's just the gist of that. Some preliminary observations. The student of conducting should remember that whether he is practicing, exercising for skill with his hands and baton, or whether he is studying repertoire, he should constantly carry in his mind a musical sound. Early in his career, the student will learn that there is never enough rehearsal time. It is a most precious commodity and must not be wasted. The goal for each rehearsal should be set in the conductor's mind before he steps on the podium. He should have thought through what he wishes to accomplish, and then he should proceed to do it confidently and enthusiastically. Things will not always go as he planned, but he will not be so inclined to waste his opportunities if he had planned. So basically, you need to be prepared for your auditions. I got 3 minutes. In the school music field, a pleasing personality is a great help. In the profession field, it will also help provide the young conductor is modest, sincere, and knows his business. If he respects musicians of the orchestra, he will start out with at least a chance of winning their respect. Know that conductor can dissociate himself completely from the teaching facet of his trade. Knowing how to teach, how to suggest changes without prejudicing the members of the ensemble is a valuable asset. A conductor does not conduct every note of the score page, even though he must know every note. Learning what to conduct is a process of continuous growth. Gradually, the score will tell him beforehand that this or that is going to cause trouble. Such things as the very first sound at the beginning of the composition, the indicating of cues when the players are depending upon the conductor for them, the cymbal crashes, dangerous cutoffs, and sequential entrances, difficult 2D chords that come in irregular beats. For these are some similar hazards. The conductor must be there when he is needed. As the conductor works with his own organization, he will come to know his players individually as musicians. He will find that this one needs to be reminded by the conductor's gestures of certain things that transpired during the rehearsal, that one must be kept under control dynamically, that this wind melody line must be encouraged to project the strings, that the strings will not use the necessary sweep of bow stroke in certain passages unless the conductor gestures show that sweep, and that the pianissimo will always be played too loud if the conductor does not control his own hands with infinite care. All this knowledge comes with experience, but during the conductor's student days, he must build the skill in his gestures that will give him the control and the interpretive technique he will need as he gains experience. Above all else, every conductor must remember that he is there for the purpose of making music. He makes this music through the medium of his ensemble, the human beings in it. He himself must be inspired by the music, but he must also be able to translate that inspiration into readable signs for the musicians in front of him. He should be dynamic dynamically conscious, should have a vital sound concept of the grandeur of double forte or the intensity of the most breathtaking of triplet pianos. Every phrase should glow and diminish as the music requires. His gestures should show these things. He must be vital and excited when the music is vital and exciting. He must be able to change instantly to utter calm when the music demands it. Also, it is the music and the musical sound that must assume preeminence over everything else. After all, that is what made Tosakani. Perfect. So, exercises for practice. Take with you to a piano any full score, establish the key of the composition, then proceed to sing each part horizontally, skipping octaves as necessary to keep within your range. Check your pitch often against the piano. If you find that mistakes are creeping in, then sing softly off the notes that are skipped between the terminal ends of the intervals. Be sure that you sing them in the given key. Okay. Number 2, drill your sense of inner hearing by playing any note on the piano, and then without singing that note, imagine the sound of the next higher half step and sing that pitch. Do the same thing with the lower half step and then with whole tones. When the correct pitch forms in the imagination, it will come out of your throat. Your vocal cords can produce only what you imagine, nothing else. And number 3, further drill your music imagination by memorizing several lines of one part and then writing them from memory. And that will bring us to section 1, the manual technique. And in chapter 2, starting on Monday the 3rd, this is where we'll get into the actual baton. We will talk about the baton, and then we're going to start, actually no, chapter 2 we'll talk about the baton. How to hold the baton, and then number 3, chapter 3, that Wednesday and that Friday will focus on different patterns to use whenever you're conducting. So today was just a little introduction, right? Each class is going to be different. I'm not going to be reading straight from the book in each class, right? Some classes I will read from the book, other classes I'm going to summarize it for you, and then we'll get into actually conducting with the baton, getting the good techniques down for the beginner, and giving cues and cutoffs and decrescendos and crescendos and how to do we'll get into all of that, right? So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have, subscribe, get a notification button. I am getting back into posting constantly, as you have seen up to this point. Let's see, support my Patreon if you can and if you're able. My Patreon, they do get a little more access to me as far as one-on-one is concerned. If you want some one-on-one practice, so, go help me on the Patreon, and I'll be willing to help you one-on-one. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section. I will do my best to answer you as quickly as possible. And with that said, that is it for this video. I will catch y'all on the flip. Over and out. Boo-bye.